Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Conversation Corner, where we dive into the language of life and bring you practical English with real-world topics. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mark. Today's episode is all about self-improvement and motivation, a topic that many of us can relate to, whether we're just starting out on our journey or already on the path of bettering ourselves. It's something everyone can work on.
Exactly, Mark. And to make this interesting, we're going to break down common terms and phrases in English that you'll often hear in discussions around self-improvement and motivation. Plus, we'll share some personal stories, useful strategies, and vocabulary to get you motivated.
All right, Sarah, shall we start by explaining what self-improvement really means?
Great idea. So, self-improvement means making yourself better by developing your knowledge, skills, or personality. It's about recognizing where you can grow and actively working on it.
Yes, and motivation is that inner drive, the desire to make things happen or achieve goals. It's what keeps you moving forward, even when things are tough.
Step 1 in any self-improvement journey is to set goals. Having clear, realistic goals gives you a direction to follow.
That's right. And setting goals in English is easy if you remember some useful phrases. For example, you might say, I want to improve my skills in, or my goal is to become better at.
Yes, and here's a tip. Start small. Begin with something achievable. For instance, instead of saying, I want to read 100 books this year, start with, I want to read 1 book a month. Small goals are manageable and help build confidence.
Absolutely. And here's another phrase you can use, I aim to. For example, I aim to work out 3 times a week. Notice how these phrases set a specific target. This makes it easier to focus.
Now, let's move to step 2, building positive habits. Habits are actions you do repeatedly, and good habits help you improve without even thinking about it.
Exactly. A useful way to express this in English is to say, I'm working on creating a routine for, studying English every day.
Or, I want to develop the habit of, reading every morning. It's simple, but the routine can make a huge difference in your journey.
And here's a tip. Tie your new habit to something you already do. For example, if you drink coffee every morning, use that time to read for a few minutes or listen to an English podcast.
Yes, I love that idea. And using phrases like I'm focusing on or I'm practicing makes it easier to stick with new habits. For instance, I'm focusing on practicing gratitude every day.
All right, step 3 is staying motivated. It's one thing to start. It's another to keep going. So, let's discuss phrases and expressions that can help you talk about staying motivated.
One helpful phrase is, I remind myself of why. This means you think about your reasons for doing something. Like, I remind myself of why when things get difficult.
Another is, I look back at my progress. When you feel unmotivated, look back at what you've already achieved. For example, I look back at my progress in learning English, and it motivates me to continue.
I also like saying, I visualize my success. This means you imagine what it feels like to reach your goal. Visualization is powerful because it makes you feel as though you've already achieved something.
Definitely. Visualization keeps you connected to the end goal. You can say, I'm staying focused on my vision. It's like having a map that shows you the end of your journey.
Let's face it, there will always be challenges along the way. But don't worry, there are ways to talk about overcoming them.
For instance, a useful phrase is, I embrace the obstacles. It means you accept challenges as part of the journey. You could say, I embrace the obstacles because they make me stronger.
I like that, Mark. Another phrase is, I learn from my setbacks. Instead of seeing failures as negative, think of them as learning opportunities. Like, I learn from my setbacks and move forward.
Yes, and you can also say, I keep pushing forward, which means you don't give up. For example, I keep pushing forward even when I don't see immediate results.
One of my favorites is, I trust the process. This means you believe that the journey itself is valuable, even if progress is slow. I trust the process of self-improvement.
Sometimes self-improvement isn't a solo journey. A support system can make a big difference.
Absolutely. You might say, I surround myself with positive people. This means you're choosing friends who encourage and uplift you.
Or, I share my goals with people I trust. Sharing your goals can make you feel accountable. For example, I share my goals with my family to stay motivated.
Another useful phrase is, I seek guidance from mentors. It's helpful to have someone experienced to guide you. Like, I seek guidance from mentors to improve my skills.
Right. And you can say, I stay connected with like-minded individuals. This means you keep in touch with people who have similar goals. It keeps you motivated and focused.
Our final step is celebrating progress. Don't forget to recognize the steps you're taking, no matter how small.
A common phrase is, I reward myself for small wins. This means you take time to celebrate each achievement. Like, I reward myself for small wins to stay motivated.
Another one is, I take pride in my journey. Instead of just focusing on the end goal, enjoy the journey itself. You could say, I take pride in my journey of self-improvement.
Or, I'm proud of the person I'm becoming. This acknowledges that change is a process. For instance, I'm proud of the person I'm becoming as I work on myself.
And remember, it's okay to say, I'm a work in progress. This is a gentle reminder that we're all still learning and growing.
Well, that wraps up today's episode on self-improvement and motivation. We hope you found these phrases and tips helpful for expressing your journey in English.
Yes, remember that self-improvement is a lifelong journey, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. Use these phrases, practice them, and apply them in your own life.
Thanks for joining us on the Conversation Corner. We're rooting for you on your journey to becoming your best self.
And as always, keep learning, keep improving, and stay motivated. Until next time, take care and keep growing.
Goodbye, everyone.